Are you looking for the best Samsung TV? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best Samsung TV on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Samsung S90C OLED. The Samsung S90C OLED is amongst the best Samsung TVs we've tested. It combines the deep inky blacks of LG Display's OLED technology with Samsung's quantum dot technology, resulting in a wider color gamut and brighter colors than traditional OLED TVs made with LG display panels. It looks fantastic in a dark room thanks to its nearly infinite contrast ratio and perfect black uniformity, with no distracting blooming around bright areas of the screen. Like most high-end Samsung TVs, it has a wide array of extra features, like VRR and 4K at 144Hz support from the new-gen consoles or a recent PC graphics card. It's available in 4 sizes, 55, 65, 77, and 83 inches, although the 83-inch model uses a oled panel, so it looks different from the smaller sizes. The built-in Tizen OS interface is easy to use and has a great selection of streaming apps and games. The S90C sits just below the higher-tier Samsung S95C OLED. The more expensive model is a bit brighter and sports a refreshed design that looks incredible when wall-mounted, thanks to its uniform design and incredibly thin bezels. The main difference between the two is that S95C comes with an external Slim 1 Connect box to help keep your cables clutter-free. The price of the S95C is significantly higher than the S90Cs, so unless you need the box for your setup, it's not worth buying over the S90C. Number 2. Samsung QN90C/QN90CD QLED. The Samsung QN90C/QN90CD QLED is one of the best Samsung smart TVs in the upper mid-range category we've tested. Alongside the Samsung QN95C QLED, it's Samsung's flagship 4K LED TV for 2023. Featuring an impressive mini LED backlight to increase the appearance of small highlights and reduce blooming in dark scenes. It's an excellent TV with a great selection of features, so there's something for everyone. It's not quite as good as Samsung's OLEDs in a dark room, though, as there's still some blooming around bright objects, and blacks aren't perfectly deep and inky. On the other hand, it's a better choice for watching shows in bright rooms because it has fantastic reflection handling and easily gets bright enough to fight glare, so visibility isn't an issue even in the brightest rooms. It doesn't come with the Samsung QN90B qled's ultra viewing angle technology, so its viewing angle is slightly narrower, but it also doesn't have the older model's distracting rainbow smearing. You could instead go for the somewhat better but more expensive QN95C. It has a slightly better local dimming feature, gets a bit brighter, and has 144Hz support on all of its HDMI ports, but overall, it's not worth the added cost over the QN90C. The Samsung QN90D/QN90DD QLED is now available. Unlike the QN90C, it uses a VA panel instead of an IPS panel, so it has better contrast but a narrower viewing angle. Its better contrast delivers deeper blacks in a dark room, but the narrower viewing angle makes it less suitable for watching TV with a group. The QN90D also gets brighter overall, but since its predecessor already gets bright enough to overcome glare in bright rooms and for highlights to stand out in HDR content, the difference won't be noticeable to most people. Unless you're willing to sacrifice viewing angle for contrast, the cheaper QN90C is the better option for most people while it's still available and on sale. Number 3. Samsung QN85C/QN85CD QLED. The best mid-range TV monitor we've tested is the Samsung QN85C/QN85CD QLED. It has a wide viewing angle, which ensures that the sides of the screen remain consistent if you sit close. Its viewing angle is wider than that of the more expensive Samsung QN90C/QN90CD QLED, which is great. However, the higher-end model is available in more sizes and does offer superior image quality overall. Still, there are no issues with using the QN85C in a bright room since it easily gets bright enough to fight glare and has decent reflection handling. The TV doesn't have deep, inky blacks compared to the Samsung S90C OLED, but its contrast is still great for a cheaper mid-range TV. It's a fantastic TV for gaming as it supports HDMI 2.1 bandwidth on all 4 HDMI inputs, allowing 4K at 120Hz signals from a PC or console. It's compatible with every VRR technology to minimize screen tearing, has extremely low input lag, and has a good response time for a responsive gaming experience. It has no issues outputting full chroma 4:4:4 with the lowest input lag possible, essential for clear text from a PC. It even has an RGB layout, which is optimal for text clarity when used as a PC monitor. This might be the sweet spot for Samsung TVs regarding price and performance. The Samsung QN85D/QN85DD QLED is now available to buy. It's almost identical to the QN85C but uses a VA panel instead of an IPS, so it has better contrast but a much worse viewing angle. This means it's much less suitable for use in a group setting than its predecessor since the image quickly degrades when viewed from the sides of the screen. Unless you're willing to sacrifice viewing angle performance for better contrast, you're better off getting last year's model while it's still available and on sale. Number 4. Samsung Q80C, Q80, Q80CD, QLED. If you want better picture quality without breaking the bank, the Samsung Q80C QLED is the best lower mid-range Samsung TV we've tested. Stepping up from the Samsung Q60C QLED, it's a good TV overall, with great peak brightness in SDR and decent reflection handling, so it performs well in a bright living area. Unlike most lower mid-range TVs, it also has a wide viewing angle, making it a great choice for a wide seating arrangement, as the image remains consistent even when viewed from the side. Unfortunately, this wider viewing angle comes at the expense of contrast, so it doesn't look as good as the Samsung QN85C/QN85CD QLED in a darkroom. Its black uniformity is also quite poor, so there's a lot of blooming around bright highlights in dark scenes. Fortunately, like most Samsung TVs, it has great gaming features, and all 4 HDMI ports support HDMI 2.1 bandwidth for console and PC gamers. It runs the 2023 Tizen OS interface, with a huge selection of streaming apps and an easy-to-use interface. The Samsung Q80D is now available. It has a slightly refreshed design, runs a newer version of the Tizen OS, and is supposed to have minor improvements to picture quality. It's also a lot more expensive than the Q80C, so unless you want the incremental upgrades it offers, you're better off buying the Q80C while it's available and cheaper. Number 5. Samsung Q60C, Q60, Q60CD, QLED. The Samsung Q60C is the best budget Samsung TV we've tested. Although Samsung doesn't release many budget models anymore, especially in North America, this TV offers decent overall performance at a lower cost than their more expensive models. It's available in a wide range of sizes and is one of the few TVs you can buy in a very small size without sacrificing performance. It delivers decent picture quality, with an adequate contrast ratio, fantastic black uniformity for deep blacks in a dark room, and very good peak brightness in SDR. It handles glare well thanks to its decent reflection handling, making it a good choice for an office or bedroom with lots of light, especially when watching SDR content. It has a built-in smart interface with a great selection of streaming apps, so you don't have to worry about buying a separate streaming stick to watch your favorite shows. It lacks advanced gaming features like variable refresh rate technology to reduce tearing. Although it supports HDR, it lacks a local dimming feature and can't get bright enough for HDR content to stand out. It comes with the 2023 version of Tizen OS, and you still get the same great remote and tons of apps available to download. The Samsung Q60D QLED is now available to buy. It gets brighter in HDR, but it's still not bright enough for an impactful HDR experience. It's also currently a lot more expensive than its predecessor, so unless you want the increase in HDR brightness, you're better off buying the cheaper Q60C while it's on sale.